Let's take a look right now at the AL East standings brought to you by Hankook. Baltimore is still on top, 3 games up on the Rays. The Jays, 8.5. The Red Sox, after sweeping the Yankees, are 11 games out. And the New York Yankees are 4 games under 500, 17 games back in dead last. With more on the state of the Yankees, over to Harold and Alex.
Well, you would have never thought you'd see that with the Yanks, right? That standing?
Yeah, that's also a tough division, though.
It is a tough division, but still, you're the Yankees and a lot more expected of you than that. But I went to the game Saturday, so I want to take you through a few things, and then I want to ask you about communication with a catcher and a pitcher, all right? So let's dive into this. It's the second inning. I'm at the game there on Saturday, and Gerrit Cole gets into this jam. I don't see who the video is. We're rolling with it real quick. So Gerrit Cole gets into this jam, and next thing you know, base is loaded. He gets a ground ball to third base. See, I thought he should have got double play here. Your pitcher scuffle, go to second, get the double play. We'll give up a run, no problem. It's the second inning. And it's a 0-0 game at the time. And if I go to second, I get the double play, I get out of this thing. They got to force it at home and got set the run down, no problem.
Well,
but if he goes here.
You should have also been able to get a double play going to first base as well. Right here.
Well, maybe. But either way, around the horn, you got to get 2 there, I think.
Yeah.
Either way.
On a routine ground
ball.
ball.
All right, next pitch. Boom, granny. All right. So, yeah, it's easy to ninth inning Sunday morning quarterback. But I was saying that when I was watching the game, like, hold the timeout, get your double play, get out of it. But here's the biggest problem I saw the whole day. It's the communication with the catcher. All right, you've been in this scenario. This is after the first inning, okay? This is before the second inning grand slam and all that. But I saw a lot of this. I mean, Gerrit Cole was shaking off his catcher, like, repeatedly. That's pretty frustrating for a guy who's, tempo, everything else. Next thing you know, he's thinking.
Goes off the rhythm.
They had mound visits from the coach. They had mound visits from the catcher. This one I thought was really interesting. Step off, shaking his head like, man, come on. They come back on the mound. I mean, they just could not get it together. So I was wondering, here's Gerrit Cole. Left for him, he's chasing a Cy Young. Basically, it's what he's chasing this year. So I know they got pitch comm, they got conversations, all that. So I want to talk about this scenario with a catcher. The communication. When a guy's shaking that much, how do you fix it, and how is that detrimental?
Yeah, it is, because it throws your pitcher off the rhythm a little bit. He needs to be able to sustain a nice rhythm with all of his pitches in order to, to be successful and to be able to execute. So that's the tough part. Now, I mean, I don't know how much Ben and Cole have worked together. I think Ben's probably caught him a few times already. But a guy like Gerrit has his certain cues, his certain things he likes to follow. There's certain things that he likes to try to accomplish when he's on the mound.
Right.
And, it can be tough for a young catcher, a guy that's only caught him a few times, to be able to kind of keep up with that. Not only the scouting report, but then also, some of his baseball cues that he has on the mound.
But what's more important, the scouting report on how to get guys out or what your pitcher wants to do?
Well, both. That's got to be like a collaboration. Obviously, before the game, you're talking about what you want to do to the lineup and how do you want to attack each hitter. And then also, the tough part for a catcher, whether a young catcher or a guy that you haven't caught in a while, is being able to adjust off of that. So you have your reports, but over the course of the game, you're making adjustments based on the information that the hitters are giving you, based on their swings. Also, the
stuff the pitcher has.
The stuff the pitcher has, where you're at in the game, how much has he thrown, what kind of innings are there? Are there stressful innings? Has he been able to get out of the innings quickly? What the score is?
Because watching the game, to me, the layman sitting in the stands, he threw a lot of fastballs. Yeah. And it looked like he was just frustrated, like, here's a fastball.
Right. Now,
and that can't happen. So I want to ask you a question here. How often are young catchers asking you things like this, and how difficult is that to train?
That was one of the most often questions I would get later in my career from young catchers, is how to gain trust from a veteran pitcher, how to work with veteran pitchers. That was one of the biggest questions I always got from young catchers. And a lot of times I'd tell them, like, look, you just have to put the work in, but then there's just the experience with them and catching them. That's it, because the biggest thing for a catcher, the way that help him make a pitcher a little bit better over the course of the game, is knowing what's going to help him when you need to make those adjustments. When he needs to make an adjustment on a pitch, what pitch can you go to that helps him get him back on track? Or what do you think you can go to be able to get the hitters out when what you talked about before the game isn't working? And
so
that all comes with the experience.
In this case, he's had 3 different guys catch him already this year. Trevino, he was on his way to win a Cy Young. The ERA was great.
Right.
He struggled against the other guys. Do the Yankees need to say, this is the guy catching Gerrit Cole, so he can have an idea and have time to prep with that guy before the next start?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with like more so on the catcher than so much Gerrit, because the catcher needs to understand, like, Trevino probably had a good idea as far as what to go to that next pitch when Gerrit shook him off on that point, or like there's certain cues that maybe a hitter gives that will make you decide on what pitch to throw next, at least for Gerrit. Now, I caught a few guys that did that. Like, if there were certain guys, if they chased on a certain pitch, okay, we're going to this pitch. Or if I got a guy to chase on the slider, well, I know he's not going to chase that next slider, so we got to go to this pitch. So those are the types of things, those are the types of nuances that each pitcher is going to have that takes time for a catcher to learn. And sometimes you can pick it up a little bit quicker than others. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, and they've actually had, they've obviously had some turnover.
Or you might throw a good pitch and say, I'm saving that one as an out pitch. That might be my pitch today. There's a lot of things. It's all part of that, learning that curve.